Hey folks, welcome to Advisory. It's time once again to attempt to answer the age-old philosopher's question.
How to be a Longhorn.
That's right, and today we're going to be talking everything about building safety. ID badges are a part of this, but there's other parts as well, and so I made an entirely new video this year. But we really want to consider how we keep ourselves, our fellow classmates, and the staff of this school safe during the day. The first way that we keep the building safe is to use clear backpacks and printed ID badges. Now, a lot of you already have your ID badges because you either came before school started to pick it up or you've been getting them during your lunch. Just make sure that you have that on your neck all day when you're in the building, all right? You have to have it to get lunch, you have to have it to unlock certain privileges, and you have to have it in the hallways so that we can recognize who is and is not a Longhorn. It's also a DISD policy this year that everyone who comes to school with some sort of backpack, that backpack has to be clear or mesh. Now, everybody's got a backpack that we will give them from DISD, but if that one breaks, there are very few replacements, and so just be very careful with them. And any sort of mesh backpack or see-through backpack will do, and so if you have one that you prefer to get, you can use that, but just make sure that it can be easily seen through at check-in in the morning. And it may feel like it's just a high school thing, but everyone who works in this building also has to have an ID. And I would bet that your parents or guardians, if they work at a place, it probably has them wear some sort of ID badge or name tag. So it might be annoying, but it is a normal part of life, and we expect everyone to wear their ID badge all day, every day. Another big part of building safety is making sure that the doors to the outside of the building, particularly those on the sides and back of the building, remain closed throughout the day. This is very important. Do not prop the door open for anybody that you know or anybody that you don't know. Even if a student gets locked out or if you know the person on the other side of the door, they have to go all the way around to the front to come back into the school. This is probably the number one way to keep the building safe, is to make sure that these doors remain closed. And it's also the number one way to expose it to danger by opening them. So please, if you see an open door, no you don't. Close it. Also, throughout the year, we're going to have multiple safety drills, including fire drills, tornado drills, maybe some lockdowns or lockouts. It's just very important that you listen to instructions over the PA system or from your teachers when these things happen. During fire drills, when we all exit the building, it's very important that you remain calm, that you are patient as we get 2,000 plus people out of the building, and that you return calmly and orderly whenever it's time to come back in. It may sound silly to you, but social media is a massive part of building safety. How we treat each other online very often bleeds into the real world, and so it's very important to keep in mind the real world consequences of doing unsafe things online. Okay, let's talk about fights. First of all, don't do it. Maintain your emotions, regulate your emotions, and if you have a disagreement with somebody, the best way to take care of that is by talking to that person directly, or getting someone like an adult or Miss Johnson in the Reset Center. Try to find someone that can help you have a conversation that will avoid hands being thrown. And if that conversation can't be had, then it's time to avoid the person altogether. Fighting is not tolerated here. It's a level 2 and above offense, and it goes right to the admin and right to DAEP, so do not do it. Something else that happens around fights is that people like to gather around and watch them or film them or cheer them on. And I got to tell you, that is almost as dangerous, if not sometimes more dangerous, than the actual fight itself. If you see people fighting, your job is to get the attention of an adult if they don't see it already, and then move on out of the way and away from the fight. Don't get your phone out. Don't cheer anyone on. In fact, anyone who is caught cheering people on or filming the fight will also be subject to disciplinary action. So do not film any fights. Do not cheer on any fights, and if you see one, let an adult know immediately. So those are the things we want to think about. There are a few more, I'm sure, but those are the main things that we want to think about when we think about building safety, all right? It's very important that you have an environment that you can learn in that is safe and orderly, and these things will help make that happen. We'll have another lesson tomorrow over how to be a Longhorn, but until then, be good to yourself and others, and I'll see you real soon.